Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome back to another segment of Outpost Review. What I'm getting ready to do is I'm going to take all the plastic off at the front because I'm getting ready to install the windows and the battens on the front side. The reason that I had put the plastic back up was because I didn't actually have the battens on yet, and I was afraid if I got a blowing rain that it might penetrate the cracks and kind of get on the inside. Be a little bit hard to dry out until warmer weather gets here. But if you're new to this channel, this is basically a behind the scenes vlog of what we're doing up here at the Outpost. Our main channel is Smoky Mountain Outpost. That's where we do all the projects and all the work. So if you're tuned into this channel, like I said, this is kind of behind the scenes on what, why, and how we're doing things. So if you're interested in the building and not so much the talk behind the scene, go check out our main channel, Smoky Mountain Outpost. That may be more to your liking. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to take all these strips off, or nailers what I call them, and remove all that plastic, and then we're going to see if we can't get this one window set here. I got a piece of face trim to put up underneath that eave, and then I'm going to start putting those battens on there. So hope you guys sit back, stay tuned, and enjoy what I've got to share with you today. Thank you so much for stopping by and tuning in. So I'm going to get my tools together and start here. After a while, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to remove all that, and especially this portion right here I'm going to start on. But let me say that we have a new company that has reached out to us for product review, Snap Fresh Tools. You can find them listed on Amazon. And what they did is they sent us a reciprocating saw, or a Sawzall. So I'm going to be reviewing this product coming up. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but it's got a 20 volt lithium ion battery. It appears to be fairly heavy duty, so you can be looking forward to this review. There's a lot of places that I'm going to be able to use this. The other item that they sent was, now the only thing that I have to compare this to would be my corded Sawzall. I do have one, so that wouldn't be really a fair review. But what I will be able to do is tell you under normal use how this works, how well it works, and possibly how long the battery might last under normal use, as far as building and construction goes. Then they sent us this leaf blower, which I use quite often around on a construction job, blowing the floors off and sawdust off the sawmill and things like that. But it's got 2 speeds, that's low, and then it's got a high. Now I do have a battery operated leaf blower that I did buy at Harbor Freight. It was quite expensive. I think it was the top of the line that they had. So I will be able to do a comparison on that. But yeah, these 2 items, you can look forward to me doing a review on that. I'll probably go ahead and do one on the main channel and on the Outpost review channel as well. They also sent me some metal blades, a very coarse wood blade, and they sent me a finer wood blade. So yeah, that would be cool. I'm not sure if I would assume that other blades might fit it that you can be able to pick up at the hardware, but we'll just have to wait and see. But they did send me a nice assortment of blades. So yeah, like I say, I just wanted to mention that so that you all can be, stay tuned to the review channel and get, what my opinion would be from Snap Fresh Tools. Well, the other day I actually used the very last blade that I've got for my sawmill. I do have some more that were made locally, but they mismeasured them and they were too small. So I have called my son. He's going to order some from Norwood. That way I know that they're the correct ones. So it should probably be about a week. Each blade does last me approximately, depending on the size of the log, I can cut about 4 trees. So normally they will break right where they welded them, but this one didn't. The weld is actually if I can get the camera to focus on it, is right there. So generally it comes in a big roll, and what they will do is they will cut it off and measure it to what your sawmill takes, and then they will weld them together. But I don't know if this was a weak spot, if I was pushing too hard. I didn't think that I was, but it did snap. So this blade is no longer any good. I've got a whole bunch of them that I'm going to have to ship off, you know, if I can find somebody that resharpens them and get them resharpened and set. But anyway, yeah, this is my second to my last blade. I've got the only one that I've got on there now, and I've cut one tree with it, so I'm still good to go. I think before the others get here I can do what I need to do. The other thing that happened was the fact that I was going to, like I always do, grease the machine, and I couldn't get this mechanism right here. It says lock and unlock. It would not unlock. It was actually stuck in the lock position. I tried to get it off where I could actually refill the grease tube, and it wouldn't work. So I actually purchased another one this morning, and I actually pulled this one out. This is the tube right here. That locking mechanism goes right around. It goes right around this portion right here, but it wouldn't work. So I'm hoping that this one, it didn't appear like it had one. I'm hoping that this one doesn't have one like that, so that doesn't happen again. Never had that happen before, but let's open this new one and see if it's like that. So they come with a flexible tube, which is like this one right here, or they come with just a straight tube. I prefer the flexible because sometimes, you know, you can't just hit it head on. You need to have something that will bend. So we'll just put that one up, and let's take a look at the body here. Yeah, it doesn't appear to have that, so that's going to be nice. So what this one does, this one just unscrews. That is nice because that will be able, I'll be able to actually slide the tube down in there, put it back up in place, and I won't have to worry about that thing getting locked in there and me not being able to get it out. So this may be a much better design than that other one. I don't even know where I bought the other one. This other one appears to be probably a little bit more heavy duty. This one right here, plus the fact that it's got a place right here. This one's got an insert for it. I would probably be able to put those on there to be able to grease something, but you know, I don't know why I can't just use that end right there on everything. So yeah, that appears like it might be a little bit better. And plus, it's got this ring right here, which would be a good key ring, and I could actually put that on there and keep that intact. Alright, cool. So you know the longevity of your equipment is based on how well you maintain it. So what I'm going to do is, since the other day the blade broke and I had to put a new one on there, I ran out of grease. So what I'm going to do is we'll get that new insert put in here, and we'll see about getting that grease so that I don't forget it.
Good boy.
Good boy. You ready? All right, so hey guys, I thought I would answer a few questions, some comments that were made. Actually, I answered some of them on our live stream, but for those people that don't get a chance to watch the live stream, I thought I would go ahead and cover some of them again. One person wants me to do a product review on the weed burner that I'm using. Primarily it's just a torch that I found at Rural King, I think it was, because the one that I had purchased from Harbor Freight had a shorter handle on it, and I like the one with the longer handle. But I'll try to do a product review on that coming up. There was a comment about the plastic that's on the side of the house and what I'm going to do with it. They actually had a good idea, because I'd never thought about it. I was talking about building the raised beds before spring so that they'll be in time for planting. But they suggested that I take the plastic and build a greenhouse. So that plastic was actually 10 foot wide, and I don't remember exactly how long it was, but that would be good because I could do some 8-foot walls, and the sections were 12 feet or a little over 12 feet, so I could do an 8 by 12. That would be a pretty good sized greenhouse and be able to, you know, have vegetables during winter time. So I'm kind of thinking about, when I'm taking that plastic off, saving it for that. You know, I was going to save it anyway and use it for, you know, just whatever purpose came along, but that's a really good idea. So that's something that I may really consider maybe doing late summer. That way I can get it going for maybe, you know, growing something throughout the winter time. So really good observation and suggestion. Somebody wanted to know if I had considered searching for doors in a salvage yard or maybe at a salvage place. And yes, I thought about that, but the front door I wouldn't be able to find the one that I want to make. So, you know, that's going to be a project that I'll actually video. What I intend on doing is using 2x6s or 2x8s. I will build a total panel, and then I'm going to use 1/2-inch styrofoam with the reflective barrier on it, of course. Of course, you know, it's going to be sandwiched in there, but it comes like that, so I'm going to go ahead and get that kind. But I'm going to put that in there. Then I will build again, either 2x6 or 2x8 front complete panel. So that's 3.5 inches, and then I'll encase it all the way around, and that will be my front door. My neighbor's going to make the hinges. We were teasing the other day. He said, well, I'll see if I can start looking for you some hinges. But anyway, I told him that I wanted them about 16 or 18 inches long. So it's going to be quite a unique door. It'll be different. I don't know that I'm going to round it, maybe kind of like I did the compost toilet. We'll just have to see, and whether or not I'm going to put a piece of glass, if I can find it, like a portal glass, and put that in there. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I do intend on making the front door. The back door, you know, is not all that important, because it'll just be something that, you know, I use going in and out. The front door will actually be visible to people that come up, so I wanted that to kind of be unique. But yeah, I don't think that I would be able to find anything like that. And there's not a lot of Victorian homes, is primarily what they were talking about, tearing those down and finding those at salvage places. The ones that I know of, they're either still standing or they renovate them in order to keep that architecture alive. So we don't have a lot of that being torn down in our area. You know, another thing too is I had some comments about being apologetic for the way I'm constructing things. That's not my intent on apologizing for it. My intent is to try to explain the reason that I'm doing things the way that I'm doing them. You know, I don't think there's any one certain way that you can do anything. Some people prefer one way, others prefer another way. Also, you know, there are no codes in my area. Now, this is primarily for new people, because I've said this over and over. But the only codes that we have here in this undeveloped area are, of course, electrical inspection once you do your wiring, and along with that is tied the septic tank. Neither of which, you know, I don't have power, so I will not have need for an electrical inspection. Would it be a good idea? You know, I do know some people in that field that they can just come up and take a look at what I've done and kind of give me the okay, because they do that kind of business, and they would know whether it would pass or not. But really, you know, since I'm going to have some sort of solar power up here, because the power company quoted me $8,500 just to build a line up here. So I'm like, you know, I could invest a whole lot of my own money into solar, and you know, not have to pay them, you know, $150, $200 a month, which is what they told me the average bill was in this area on a monthly basis. You know, that kind of money would go a long way. And I'm not going to really, you know, I don't think I'm going to need that much, because my lights are going to be LED. I'm going to have 5 ceiling fans. I'll run those. The ability to charge my batteries. I'm not interested in having a microwave. My refrigerator, my hot water heater, they will be propane. I'm thinking about doing a propane grill top as well. I do have the stove in there that I can cook on. So, you know, I really don't think my needs are going to be that great. So that kind of money would go a long way in putting in, you know, solar energy up here. And then, of course, I've mentioned it before, my neighbor and I, we've talked about doing some hydro projects. So I think that, you know, I think we're going to get that end of it covered. But they were talking about me, like I said, being apologetic. You know, this is not the first home that I've built. And I get a lot of people, you know, commenting because maybe of the way that they might do things, and, you know, they'll point out something, you know, and I might be doing it totally different, and that's okay. That's cool. I understand that. You know, I'm not apologizing for what I've done, because if there's steps that I think that I can omit that are really not needed, just like the headers, you know, since my beams up there take the place of the headers, I chose not to, you know, take advantage of the resources I've got, because I kind of thought about it, and I kind of figured it might be a waste, you know, of material that I could use somewhere else. So I didn't put in the headers, because I have those beams with the tenons, mortise and tenon, and the angle iron. So didn't really see the importance of putting that in there. Which, is that standard? No, you would put headers in there. But things like that, you know, steps that I might omit that I feel that for me are not necessary. So that's the reason that I try to explain that, so that people understand, you know, where I'm coming from if they see me doing something that's, you know, out of the norm. And if I do something blatantly, it's just because, you know, that's the way that I want to do it. So, you know, if you live in an undeveloped area and you don't have any restrictions or any codes, and if that's the way that you want to do it, you know, then do it. That's what I'm doing up here, trying to hold costs down. And, you know, I don't claim to be a master at any of this, because Lord knows, you know, there are builders that could have done a much better job than what I'm doing. I have built, you know, another home, sold it, it passed inspection, and my neighbor now owns it, the one that I've had another comment, you know, can you show us the home that you previously built? I do have intentions of going up there pretty soon and taking some video from the outside. I told him I didn't want to come inside and intrude, but I would like to take some video and show you guys, you know, the former home that I built. I've remodeled some. I know enough to get by. And whatever I have done has served my purpose. You know, of course, this was the first timber frame that I built, and I actually set the post down on the concrete, not thinking about wicking. So what I did was I went back, and you can go back and check in the video playlist. I actually jacked it up after I had it put together. I jacked them up individually with two 20-ton jacks, and I actually slid an aluminum plate in underneath there because aluminum doesn't react the way that metal would. And my neighbor, who's a blacksmith, said, you know, he advised me to use the aluminum, and I did protect it where it touches the anchor bolt so that I don't have a reaction between the steel and the aluminum. And I also put, you know, probably didn't need it, but I put felt tar paper on the top and on the bottom. I actually glued it on there. So, you know, I don't have any problems, I think, foresee coming from that. I also I'm going to rock the whole bottom, and like the board and batten is covering all of that, so it'll be totally enclosed, you know, so I think it's going to last for a long, long time. You know, another comment that I had was about the windows and them not being sealed. I do run a bead of caulk on the inner corner of the lip that's around there. that way I don't put it on the outside. That way I can grab it and I can actually set it in there. Other people, they may caulk right around the edge of the lip. But what I do, once I get that thing set in there, then I put the casing around the window or the frame, and then I run a bead of caulk totally around the frame, okay? And then where the inside of the frame meets the window, I run another bead of caulk in there, okay? So the way that the window's designed, of course, you know, if I didn't have any casing around it at all or any frame, as long as I put some sealant on the back side of it, that would probably be sufficient, because anything that comes in, you know, can't go through and it would actually run out. But yeah, so it's primarily it's caulked 3 times. It's caulked on the back side of the window. Now, a lot of things, you know, I don't video, just like when I was gluing the OSB, the tongue and groove down, people kept commenting, why aren't you gluing it? You know, well, I did glue it. If you look closely on some of those videos, you could actually see the glue. So I finally decided to show, you know, gluing a couple of them, just so that those comments would quit coming in, you know. I just kind of figured that it was redundant to film that, you know, because that's not interesting. Actually seeing the plywood go down, getting it screwed in, you know, getting the floor done, that's what I videoed. So, you know, the windows are the same way. I didn't figure that, you know, running a bead of caulk on the back side of them would be entertaining. So don't think that I'm not doing it. Now, when I did get the window framed in on one of the videos there, I didn't show caulking around it because I didn't have the time. I felt I wanted to get the battens on. That's something that I could actually go back and do. But I did run a bead of caulk on the top just in case any rain came in and was running down. So, you know, y'all are going to have to give me a day or two, because you got to realize I'm only one person up here, and I can't get everything done in one day. So wait several videos, you know, if you have something on your mind or something like that, and you know, there quite possibly could be a step that maybe I do miss. And you know, whenever I've done anything, if I've forgotten something, I always go back and correct it later. But you know, that's just part of being human. But anyway, yeah, like I say, you know, wait 2 or 3 videos and see if I don't go back and actually do what may be on your mind. So, but yeah, my main goal was to get the battens on the house before I ever went back and actually caulked anything. Of course, you know, putting the battens on, I am running a bead of caulk between those boards primarily because I want to. Do I have to? I don't think so, but I want to. It doesn't cost that much. So I'm putting that on there before I screw the battens in. But you know, having that bead of caulk around on the inside corner of the windows, and then putting the frame on it, I can always go back and caulk around that later. You know, I don't feel that that's a big issue. But just to let you know, that is happening. I just may not be videoing it. You know, another question that's been popping up is about a vented roof versus unvented. That might be something that you guys want to look up. There's a lot of pros and cons to each one of them. The former house that I built that had a 22-foot ceiling, it was non-vented. There has never been an issue with it. As a matter of fact, when I got it done, you couldn't even see any heat loss in it when the snow would sit on the top, because it had a propane fireplace in it. That's what we used to heat with. I actually had a 1,000-gallon tank. But yeah, I mean, and it was a non-vented system. But you know, never had any issues with it in this climate. And this one's going to be the same way. I'm going to put the tongue and groove right up there. I'm going to have the radiant barrier on there too, so it's going to be reflecting any heat back towards the metal. The metal is also light colored, which is not going to attract a whole lot of heat. And you know, I don't see where, as long as it's sealed good, a lot of the non-vented roofs, you know, you will find a lot of pros about that. They do have some cons, as well as the vented. They have cons as well. But you know, sometimes when people get used to something, you know, they stick with that, and that's okay. That's cool. You know, I've actually done both, but this is not going to have any attic space in it. It's not going to have anything. It's going to be a solid non-vented roof. Hey guys, I don't know if you can see these little pellets coming down on me. It was actually raining when I came out here, and now it's turning into these little fine ice pellets, so it may end up snowing today. But I'm going to go ahead and shut this video down here. I know this is maybe a little bit shorter than what you're used to, or a little bit different, but I do need to get busy and get to work. I do appreciate you guys stopping by here. Thank you so much for supporting both of our channels. We greatly appreciate it. My son, my daughter, and I, we all do. We want to thank you, like I say, for stopping by and hanging out with us up here at the Outpost. Take care. We look forward to seeing you back up here again next time.